everyone, and welcome back to the Captain Logan Show. It's time for the Christmas 2018 edition. I am Captain Logan, and here is my son Jason. He thought he'd join us. Here is our regular co-host and chat moderator and producer, Danny Nixon.
Hey, everybody.
And look, Freddie's here behind us, too, just hanging out. He's he just wanted to watch from behind, I guess, so he's hanging out with us. Thanks a lot for joining us, everybody. For the next hour or so, we're going to talk about whatever you guys would like to talk about. I'm calling this the Christmas edition. It's Christmas in the sense that it's the week before Christmas, and we're wearing Santa hats. That's how the theme is being represented. If you want to ask anything that is holiday related or Christmas related, we'll do our best to answer it. If there's really something that you want to talk about like that, but we're not going to limit this to any particular topic. It won't be like the Halloween show. I don't want to do the Christmas film edition like we did with horror movies or whatever, because that's not a thing I know a whole ton about, and I'm a little rusty on that. Hey, Danny, what's your favorite Christmas movie? Do you have one?
Oh,
Dan hates Christmas.
Yeah, that's hence the black hat. No, I love all of the like ABC's 25 Days of Christmas, like those classic stop motion, not stop motion. Well, yeah. Stop motion.
Yeah. Claymation. Yeah.
Claymation. I can't really pick a favorite. They all just kind of blend in together after years of just watching them on repeat. So that entire like type, whatever studio or studios put those out, I just love all of them. So I'm gonna take the easy way out and not give an actual answer. I'm just gonna say all of.
What's funny is my favorite of those isn't even a Christmas movie. I really like the Easter Bunny one. The one where they try to make up like a mythology for everything, for like where the eggs come from and all of that. I bet it doesn't hold up at all, but that's what I always liked a whole lot. I'm partial, of course, to the original Grinch, and I also really like Patrick Stewart's version of Christmas Carol. That's my favorite.
I like Muppets Christmas.
And I'm a big fan of A Christmas Carol in general. That just in general is my favorite Christmas thing.
I really like
the Mickey Mouse one.
Yeah, the Mickey Mouse one's really good too.
I really like the Flintstones A Christmas Carol, where it's all the Flintstones characters putting
seen that since I was a kid. Oh, is that what it does?
Yeah, well, that's the framing for it, is they're all putting on that play, and then Fred actually is visited by the three ghosts. So it's a really I always liked it, but it was also my first introduction to A Christmas Story. So
I never liked A Christmas Story. I came to it late, and I came to it. I have the same thing with that I have with I don't know, some other like Freddie, would you stop? With some other kind of cult comedies where I heard all the jokes before I saw it, and I was already sick of it because it was just so culty. I had that a little bit with man, what's that movie I'm trying to think of? That's not coming to me. Freddie's being very distracting. Anyway, we have a already 199 super chat from Hot Flame. Favorite Christmas comic? Mine is at this point Batman Noel. Most certainly, it's just absolutely wonderful, and it's got some of the best art I think from. Would you guys knock it off? I just can't think of people's names now because these guys are messing around. Anyway,
the art from
that by Noel?
Bermejo, yeah, thanks. Mm-hmm.
Sticking with Batman because it's like the first character that always goes up with Christmas in comics for me, at least. It's the Batman, the Batman the animated series tie-in.
Hey, Freddie, can you say bye?
Bye.
Freddie's gonna go upstairs. Bye, Freddie.
But the holiday special from the comics.
Oh, yes, of course. Yeah.
It's just an anthology, and it's so good. It's got so many great artists coming together, so many great like short stories, and then, of course, the stories from it that get adapted into the show later on.
The movie, this is not a Christmas thing, but the movie I was trying to think of earlier, and people will want to shoot me for saying this. I was never a big fan of The Princess Bride either for the same reason. I just got so sick of people quoting it all the time before I finally saw it. And so I was like, yeah, this is funny, but if I'd come to it on my own, I'd appreciate it more.
Andre the Giant is very displeased with you right now.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. As is the kid in that who I just saw in Once Upon a Deadpool. And he's very funny in that. I'm going to talk about that on how we felt about this week. Eric and I are going to cover several movies at the same time. For anybody that's missed the memo, we're not going to be able to put out an omnibus before Christmas, unfortunately. Eric's work schedule got all messed up so that he's not going to be able to take the time out to shoot the omnibus. It takes us 6 or 8 hours to shoot that. We have to do it overnight. We don't have a good overnight to do it right now. So we're going to do it after the first of the year. We're going to come back and shoot most of the one we were going to, and with some extra stuff, I'm sure. And then we're going to take a hiatus from the omnibus while I'm working on some other projects, and Eric and I are going to do some extra stuff that I don't want to announce right now, but we're going to do a couple other cool things in the interim. Don't worry, there will be plenty of content during that period. Morphin Mania officially starts on the 1st of the year. We'll have that 5 days a week for anybody that likes to watch Power Rangers, or even if you don't, it gets funny. Maybe think about taking a look at it. And then Danny and I have something special we're doing that's going to happen down the pipeline that we meant to put out a long time ago that didn't end up happening, but we are finally going to get it out soon. And anyway, so more rewinds are coming. So lots of stuff to look forward to down the road. A lot of other people mentioned their favorite movies. Somebody said It's a Wonderful Life, which actually might be my answer, even more than the things I said at this point, because I hadn't seen that for the longest time. And then last year, I finally watched it on request and reviewed it and thought it was just an absolute masterpiece. And everybody always, that's one of those movies that, everybody always talks about as being such a big deal. And I figured there was no way that I would enjoy it because it's just such a cliche now. It's so synonymous with the season that I figured it would be kind of sappy and kind of messagey, and it blew me away. It hit me in a place, and I'm gonna have to make sure and watch that again this year. That will be a thing I watch, and it does make sense because I had heard people say like it's not really a Christmas movie. Why do we show it at Christmas? It made perfect sense when I saw it. I was like, oh yes, of course, this is a thing that you watch at Christmas. But you can watch it any time of the year. But yeah, so people said that. Somebody said Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas, George C. Scott's Christmas Carol. That was the one I grew up with until we got Patrick Stewart's. Daniel Davis, my favorite Christmas movie is Batman Returns. Mutail says, is Iron Man 3 a good Christmas movie? Yeah, it's as much of a Christmas movie as something like Die Hard, I would say. Maybe Die Hard's more of a Christmas movie, but
yeah, Die Hard's a Christmas movie.
That was one of those things that was put out in like June or July, and then I went back and I was like, oh, it's Christmas movie. I think Batman Returns also came out in the summer. Am I wrong about that, Danny? Am I remembering that wrong?
Came out before I was born, so I have no idea.
You're supposed to know these things.
Yeah, I'm.
Danny,
I blocked that specific Batman movie out of my head.
Is that what happened? Well, Danny, you're supposed to get in your time machine and go back in time and then look in the movie theaters and see when it was.
I left my police box outside. I should go grab that.
Welcome to everybody in the comments. I see Anime 2018. I see Blue Dragon 5, Cinegraphic, Noah O, David Crabtree, William Parcell. Tons of other folks. There's DJ. Hi, DJ. Speaking of DJ, I wanted to mention I am so busy with family stuff and with this insane 12 Days of Superhero Rewind project, which is maybe the wildest thing I've ever attempted. And I'm going to need some extra time tonight to work on some stuff. So we're not going to have Morphin Mania tonight. It will come back Friday night. So we are going to take the night off from that. So anybody, I posted about that earlier, but just in case you didn't get the memo, we usually have about 12 to 15 people regularly who come to that. So hopefully everybody's heard about it by now. But we will come back again on Friday and shoot some more of those. And then next week, it being Christmas week, I'm going to take the whole week off from live shows. So Danny, you're off the hook. You don't have to do the show. Aren't you excited?
Heartbroken. No, I'm
yeah. Shut up, Danny Nixon.
No, it will be nice to not have to like Christmas up the day after Christmas. Like get back into that like Christmas mood. Because like after the holidays, I like to just completely get myself completely as far away from like the holiday spirit as I can.
Well, our show wouldn't have to still be Christmas themed just because it's the day after Christmas.
It would probably turn into like, I got this for Christmas. What did you get?
Well, yeah, but I mean that's the mood I'm going to be in the day after Christmas. But regardless, I don't want to shoot the day after Christmas. I'm going to be hanging out with the kids and playing. I'm going to be playing with all their stuff. I started that sentence and then I went, no, I'm going to go all the way with that. I'm going to play with all their toys. And that's my whole plan.
But like we established at the beginning of this show, I'm the Scrooge or the Grinch or whichever one we went with. So I got to be like super anti-Christmas right now. So like anything. So
your heart is 3 sizes too small, and you have a dog that you pretend is a reindeer, but you also say that all the poor people should just go to the prisons because like that's what the prisons are for. So
Exactly.
you did that. Okay.
I am a strong proponent of debtors' prisons.
Is that?
No. You should just be.
That is
free.
contrary to what I thought your political position might have been, Danny. That's very interesting. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start taking questions now. If you want to make sure that your question gets answered for sure, you can leave a super chat. That helps to support the channel. That helps keep things going here. We really appreciate you guys. That is part of the reason that we do this every week. We get a lot of support that way, and everybody that does that is wonderful. But don't feel like you have to. Of course, we sure appreciate you just being here. And you can. I don't mean to make this sound like the Geekvolution Christmas charity. And you can, and also go to Patreon. Lots of cool perks there. Patreon.com/Geekvolution. Check it out.
And Merry Christmas, everyone.
And yeah, exactly. Anyway, but no, with all seriousness, we sure appreciate you just being here, whether you're watching this live or after the fact, and leave a pre-written question, and we will try to get to as many of those as possible as well. Danny, let's go ahead in the spirit of that and begin with a pre-written question, and then we'll go ahead and start getting into the
I found a question.
super chats if we can. Can we wait just a minute?
Yes.
Though? Okay. Remind me, and we can do it right after the first super chat. Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead, Danny.
All right. William Parcell asks, thoughts on the new Hellboy trailer? Same time.
Oh,
as the
wow. I
original.
like that we just started right. No, you can say Hellboy in front of Jason. It's okay. It's okay.
I was more making a joke about something you and I had discussed on like a previous live chat or live show where I just called it Hellboy. It was talking about the G-rated.
Oh, no, that was really funny. I also thought maybe you were doing that because of our conversation about YouTube stealing super chats, where it's like, oh, if there's anything that sounds like profanity, we might not get the money for the super chat. It's Hellboy. No, you should say Hellboy in the super chat.
Yeah, get around those, those bots.
Look, if you'd like to help us out on the channel and you want to help donate, just you don't want anything to happen that might make YouTube send it to charity. Okay? You remember that whole thing, Danny?
Yeah, make YouTube slightly richer charity.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, but to actually answer your question, yeah, I figured this would be the big thing that would come up tonight. There's not a whole lot else as far as news goes right now, I don't think. But if there's any other news that people think of that I'm not thinking of course, feel free to bring it up. And this is a thing that Eric and I will talk about on the eventual upcoming omnibus in the not too distant future. Danny, did you see it?
Yes, I saw it.
It looks awful. And
it looks generic.
And I'm hoping, well, and by awful, I mean generic, because with everything, and Eric and I are hoping that it's just a bad trailer and that it's not actually too indicative of what the tone of it is. The other thing I have to hope is that some of those special effects aren't finished, because a lot of that looks really bad. And it looks kind of like, almost like Legion bad. I don't mean Legion the TV show. I mean Legion the terrible movie from like 10 years ago. That's the thing I always go back, or like Dracula Untold or something like that. It looks like those kind of effects to me. It looks like they've got a pretty small budget, which is not a big deal. But the last Hellboy movies we had, a lot of it was done practically, and so it just already kind of pales in comparison. But more than that, it looks like Del Toro Hellboy light to me. It looks like that without the without the character.
Which is really weird that it would be like the light version of that, considering it's rated R. You'd think if anything it would be like that, but going in to the extreme with it, which is
why I'm skeptical of what I'm seeing. Right, like I still want to try to give it as much of the benefit of the doubt as I can. I'm concerned about some stuff that I'm seeing there. I'm not gonna lie, but I mean, like Mignola's been talking it up like it's supposed to be much more indicative of the tone of the comics, and it's supposed to be moodier. And I expected something a lot more stylized looking, Danny. Like the color palette is almost precisely what Mignola did. Again, without the kind of artistry.
You said Mignola. Did you mean Del Toro?
No, I meant Mignola. He's been talking this up, like it's going to be closer to his comics.
Okay, I was mishearing what you were saying. I thought you were saying it looked too much.
No, Del Toro would know nothing about this movie. He's not involved.
Well, no, I thought for some reason I was hearing what you said, and I thought you meant it like this looks exactly like the previous Hellboy stuff, even down to Del Toro's color palette. So that's just
I am saying that, but what I'm saying is it looks contrary to what they've been saying it's supposed to be. Right. And Cinematographic says it's missing the charm. That's the word I was looking for. That absolutely. Again, what we're seeing, that's what it looks like. I mean, the guy playing Hellboy, he looks fine. He looks kind of exactly the same.
Yeah,
but I guess that just means they got it right in the first place. I don't know what else you do with that.
Yeah, I'm not like super judgy about like the CGI on it yet because it is a trailer, and like trailers that come out like a week before movies still sometimes look very unfinished, and then what we see on the screen looks pretty good. So that's not usually something I pay a whole lot of attention to. But like the first thing that caught me was like the music, and like the fact that they just open it up with jokes and tell you it's going to be very comedic goes completely against what they kind of told us this reboot would be. Like I was expecting to lean more into like a horror area of it, and then you've got Hellboy as kind of deadpan humor that's kind of a comedic relief, but not super like comedic.
But again, that's the way they're selling it. That doesn't necessarily mean that that's what the movie will be like, and hopefully that's the case. I also think that there is like they could be shooting themselves in the foot a little bit, and I mean, I would be really careful with or they could be shooting themselves in the right hand of doom, Danny. I would be very careful with a thing like this that doesn't already have a giant built-in audience with how you market it. And I think they think that's what they're doing. I think they're like, let's find a thing that has been really successful in the superhero landscape that's where we don't make our movie look just like another Marvel Studios thing or something, right? Because if it just looks like another dime a dozen movie, that might be bad. That might not get people to come to see it. But we also have to make it look like something recognizable that lately has been doing well. So Eric, and I thought this too, Eric described it as, again, just the trailer, what we saw, Eric described it as like they're advertising it as Hellboy Ragnarok. And I think he's absolutely right about that. And I think there's every possibility that the very next trailer we see is a completely different tone. And we don't get any of the goofy jokes, and we don't have, that kind of music and that and all of that. It feels like a Star Trek Beyond situation to me, if the movie ends up being good.
Yeah, I didn't go to Ragnarok. I went to Deadpool. I figured they're kind of leaning more in that comedic sensibilities because, like,
but Deadpool, the way they're selling it is more like Ragnarok because of that song.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know, because like
I'm not even talking about the brand of humor so much as the brand of the trailer.
Yeah,
and no, I think the brand of humor is still closer to Ragnarok too.
Yeah, that's
not necessarily going to be a bad thing within the context of the movie. I'm just saying that like it's you very often will sell a movie with a couple of different tones because you'll have a serious story, but you'll also have some levity. So they just put all the levity together, and then they give us this. I'm just saying, I think that like if that's really indicative of what the movie is, it looks bad.
Yeah,
but it may not be.
Yeah, it's sad. I was really this is like the one comic book movie I was really looking forward to in 2019, and now a lot of that is just wiped away, which is very sad because like it was something potentially that was going to be very different than what we've been getting with a lot of the comic book movies lately, and now it seems like it's going to be that same brand of it, or at least tone as what we've been getting with a lot of stuff. So
I want to think that you might still have reason to be cautiously optimistic, but the one thing that you can glean from that trailer that I would be very surprised if this somehow changes is it's not moody and stylized like I expected. Yeah. And that's the main thing for me. Like it does look, the color palette's too straightforward. And somebody asked earlier, like how different are the other Hellboy movies from the McNolan comics? The big thing is they're just not as stylized. The mood's different. There's still some of that, but I mean those comics are just real moody and real gritty, and that's not what I'm seeing with this trailer. And again, it doesn't look like that different in tone to me from what we got before, but without that spark and that sense of fun. It's trying to have a sense of fun, but
yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily missing it. It looks like it's trying to have fun. It just looks like it's not succeeding, and it probably from that trailer, that one trailer, it doesn't look like it has the heart that the original two had.
I don't know anything about Hellboy, so I'm not joining in on this conversation.
Well, I'll show you those other movies at some point. They're pretty great. But anyway, let's go ahead and move on now, Danny. We've got a bunch of super chats. Jason, there was a comment you wanted to talk about. Why don't you bring that up real quick?
There's a question for me.
Yeah.
It was, what was my favorite superhero?
Who was it from?
So,
do you know?
I don't
I'll
remember.
look
Could have
through
written
it.
it down. I have paper everywhere. I'm sorry.
I thought I had copied that one in there into my list of questions, but I'll go back up and try to find who.
And guys, of course, as always, feel free to ask questions to Jason too, and Danny if you must.
Yeah.
If
Cap
you-
doesn't like to encourage people encouraging me, but
Yeah, if you must. Anyway, but you can go ahead and answer that question, Jason.
Yeah,
We'll see if we can find that who asked the question. Go ahead.
So I have a favorite superhero about like it's different with Marvel and DC. With DC it's Flash, with Marvel it's Spider-Man.
And the one doesn't really beat the other.
So
Well, those definitely go together in a lot of cases, especially the Wally West version of the Flash. And Barry Allen in the TV show felt like a Spider-Man type character early on.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I really like Barry Allen in the Flash TV show.
it was Anime 2018 who asked that question, by the way.
Oh, cool.
Go ahead
Yeah.
and get that thrown in there.
Awesome. Let's get some of these super chats knocked out, Danny.
Yeah. Super
All right.
chats.
We've got two from Mr. Weeping Dalek. His first question is, what is the next Mania you guys are going to do?
So as I said, Morphin Mania is going through all of 2019. Eric and I aren't doing another movie Mania on top of that. There is a little mini series we may be doing. I don't want to announce it yet in case it doesn't end up happening or as early as we're hoping to do it. But there may be another little mini Mania. But Eric and I aren't doing, and people keep asking me about this. That's what Morphin Mania is. And originally, Morphin Mania was supposed to supplant the video game movie Mania we were going to do, and Eric and I were going to do all of Morphin Mania together. Eric has been too busy at work, and he's got other things going on, and he wasn't able to shoot all that show with me. So DJ and I have been shooting it, and he's jumping in whenever he has a chance to come in on it. So the current Mania we're doing that we'll start officially posting, we've been recording it for weeks now. We've been shooting them live. So some of you guys have seen some of those. And if you're on Patreon, you might have seen them too. But that officially starts in January. We're shooting 10 seasons of Power Rangers for the 10th anniversary of Geekvolution. I know, isn't that nuts? We go into 10 years next year. We're going to be doing several things for the anniversary next year. And that's one of them. So 10 seasons of Power Rangers, and then we're gonna sample all of the shows up until you get to the Neo Saban era, because the Neo Saban era sucks. Danny has been on a few. I'm sure he'll come back for some more, and we're gonna have guest stars all the way through that. We want to bring back as many people from Geekvolution alum and just folks that we know that we like a lot that want to come in and do it. Jeff's been on some. We've had Miss Hair Fusion has come back, and several other folks. So anyway, that is the next Mania. What is the other question there, DJ?
I'm not DJ, but thank you.
I'm sorry, did I say DJ? I was just talking about DJ. Go ahead. Well, it's not my fault that you guys have names that start with the same letter. I call him Danny all the time.
You just have a horrible thing when it comes to people whose names start with D. It's Deadpool, Danny, and DJ. It's just really unprofessional. No, I'm kidding.
Do me a favor.
Deadpool, Daredevil.
Do me a favor. Call him Deadpool the rest of the show.
No, that's your job. Or when you're talking about Daredevil.
Hey, did you have another question there, Deadpool?
From Mr. Weeping Dalek.
Yeah.
He asked, thoughts on Better Call Saul Season 4?
I haven't started watching it yet. I wanted to wait until it all dropped at once. That is a wonderful show. It's a little slow moving. I don't want to watch it week to week. I'd rather binge that show. I think those make for better binge shows. And I had that with Breaking Bad too. I did finally watch because I caught up to the last season when it was on, and I watched it week to week, and it was really fun getting to see it as it was coming out. But I also got really impatient. And Better Call Saul, I think he's slower toward the beginning, and it's harder to tell where anything is going and what the point of anything is. And by season 2, it really ramps up and becomes something real special. I think Better Call Saul is a wonderful show. And oddly got better as it got more like Breaking Bad. You'd think that would have been a bad idea. It was trying to carve out an identity very much all its own. And it does have that to some degree, but it has become wonderful as a kind of fill-in history show, but it's also got wonderful character studies. It's not like it's just good as a Breaking Bad prequel, but it started having massive prequelitis, and it turned into I think one of the better, more sophisticated examples of a good prequel. I know that the Winnebago is supposed to be in the background in season 4, and I don't know what else is done with that. But I heard about that before while it was shooting, before it came up, and I'm excited to see what happens with that. And of course, I'm excited for more Gus Fring, because I love me some Gus Fring. He's my favorite, and he was great in season 3. So yeah, I'm excited to watch it, but I wanted to wait till it all dropped. And I don't know if it has all dropped, but I haven't looked yet because I've been busy.
Did season 4 catch up to the original timeline of Breaking Bad? Like,
yes, I think that's what it's supposed to do. Yeah. Well, and you can tell in 3 they're getting real close.
See, I haven't watched past the first few episodes of
just with where they're maneuvering everything and stuff that they're doing with Santa Monica and stuff like that. Like you get to see quite a bit of him before he is in the wheelchair with the ding 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 ding.
Yeah, his Lex Luthor buzzer.
Right. Yeah, his Lex Luthor, but except he doesn't actually have to say it out loud, and he can't because he has a condition.
Has anyone on YouTube put together like a clip of him? But
that seems like it should be a meme, does it not?
Should. I'm gonna have to work on that. Going back to some more of the super chats, Jojira asks, "What is your favorite gift you got for Christmas in your childhood?"
Oh, Jeffrey says it has not caught up yet. Okay. And all of the episodes are out. Cool. Awesome. I'm sorry. I was not paying attention because I was reading things from the previous question. Go ahead.
He said, Jojira asked, what is your favorite gift you got for Christmas in your childhood?
Wow. In my childhood?
Jason, this will be really easy for you.
He's still in his childhood.
Exactly. So
Jason gets really cool stuff, man. That makes it really hard. Yeah, wow. Let me think for a minute. Danny, do you have the problem I do where I can't always remember if gifts came for Christmas or birthday?
Yeah,
or what exactly?
My birthday is in January, like beginning of January. So
see, mine's in August. I have no excuse at all.
My favorite, just to go ahead and jump in on this.
Go right ahead, yeah.
A Batman the Animated Series Batmobile, and I can't remember if I got it for Christmas or my birthday, but with how expensive that thing was, it was probably Christmas. So that was definitely my favorite because it was the one that you pull out. It's got the Batwing. It also had the Batman figure, and it was like my favorite thing in the world.
That's awesome. Anime 2018. We did mention your name earlier about the question for Jason. Danny, the first thing that comes to mind, I got some of my first autographs for Christmas before I had a chance to start going to conventions. I got my Stan Lee autograph that way, and I also got from my dad, and also for my dad, I got my Smallville print with the signatures of the 3 mains from the first season of that show. And that was a big deal right then because I was so into that show. And I think it was only on the 2nd season. So yeah, stuff like that, just kind of one of a kind things that I couldn't just go out and get easily. I'm sure there's a lot of like video games and things that were a big deal in game systems and stuff. I just can't remember like when things came from. I have a horrible memory for that stuff. I got my first the first system I owned myself outright was the Super Nintendo that my mom gave me, but I think that was for my birthday as opposed to Christmas. So yeah.
All right. Do you want me to jump into another super chat or go back to one of the pre-written?
Let's go back to pre-written, yeah.
All right. Let me scroll back up here real quick.
Is there quite a bit of super chat?
There's a comment.
Yeah, there's quite a few.
There was a comment.
Let's go ahead and do a pre-written, and then we'll knock
a couple more of those out. Cat murderer.
All right. From Kellen O'Rourke, do you consider it a plot hole in movies where Santa Claus exists, but the parents still evidently put presents under the tree? And I'm going to elaborate on this one. And they still act surprised, like at the end of the movie when there's a gift under the tree from neither of them. Because that's the
that's a great point. Yeah, that's kind of a trope at this point, isn't it?
Yeah.
I thought you were going to ask if I find it irritating or a plot hole when Santa Claus is just in a universe that otherwise doesn't have any kind of supernatural anything, or where, but yeah, like you say, the idea that like people are surprised, but presents appear out of nowhere.
That's the one thing in Holiday. Is it Holiday Express, the Tom Hanks animated movie where they're on the train?
Yes,
That's
I've never seen that film.
Okay, so spoiler at the end of it, there's a present under the tree from Santa Claus, and the parents are acting surprised because like, what? Santa doesn't exist. Who got this? It boggles my mind. And every year they've had these kids, because these kids are probably like 9 or 10.
Oh, Polar Express.
Polar Express, not Holiday Express. Thank you.
Holiday Inn Express.
Yeah, that'd be a terrifying movie. But anyways, where do these presents come from? Do parents just never talk? Do they just assume the wife got the gift or the husband got the gift? Where are they coming from?
Yeah, nobody talks to each other, and like the whole nation.
Yeah,
like 300 million people. Nobody. All right. No, that's a really good point. I don't know if I've like actually given this a lot of thought. Like just sitting here talking about it, I feel like you've blown my mind. But surely I've thought about this before. But yeah, like you'd think it would be a big mystery. You can make that movie, like the Santa Claus mystery, where nobody believes in Santa, but these presents keep showing up.
Oh, that'd be such a great noir movie.
Everybody's like, where in the world? Yeah.
You just open it up with the private detective. He's doing the whole inner monologue. Some leggy dame walks in. It's like, I got a question for you. I got a case for you. There's these presents under my tree each year. And
I don't know how they got there.
Yeah.
It can't be a fat man in a red suit flying around with reindeer because, as we all know, A, reindeer don't fly, and 2, I don't know what this voice is, you can't get... one man can't deliver that many presents. It's not possible.
And I don't have a chimney for him to come through.
I don't have a chimney. How did he get in here? He comes through the floor.
That'd be breaking and entering.
Yeah.
We've got to make this film noir.
No, that's a great idea. No, everybody should be really confused. And like even the Christmas episode of The Tick does this, where like Santa Claus shows up and like half the episode, everyone's telling Tick there's no Santa Claus. But then Arthur's like, here's this present you brought me, Santa Claus. And it's really funny too, because it's a pop gun, and Santa's elves are like Secret Service, and they act like Secret Service guys, and they're dressed like that. And they jump Arthur when he comes out with a pop gun because they think he's gonna try to kill Santa. It's great. And he's like,
"Get down, Mr. Claus."
And then Santa goes, most children are nice, but sometimes a very naughty kid will come after Santa. And I remember even being a kid going like, how is this on TV? It's great.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. But yeah, so like, yeah, why would they? I guess the idea, like you said, is so what do you like not want to scare your kids? Is the idea that you don't trust this Santa guy. You know he exists, but you don't tell your children about him. You claim that you gave them those presents.
It's just a very cynical world where everyone is super selfish and wants to take credit for everything under that tree. They don't want to acknowledge that Santa exists so they can get all the credit for those presents.
Yeah. You could also make it a conspiracy movie, right? Where all the parents got together and decided to... It would be an elaborate conspiracy. We're up to a certain age, and they all make it different so that nobody figures out the conspiracy, right? Up to a certain age for each family, the children aren't allowed to know that Santa Claus exists, and then they tell them that he doesn't exist, so that it further complicates it and confuses them. So instead of just telling them there is no Santa Claus in the first place, they let them believe it for a while and then think that it's like a stupid children's thing, and they know for sure it's not real, but he really is there, and everyone's scared of him and doesn't trust him because he's too powerful.
Yeah, we've got our next movie. It's called Operation Santa. Santa is a anagram. Like NASA, it's S.
See, you think Santa?
N period,
yes.
C period, A period, and we find some like shield.
They have the anagram, but the anagram, it's an acronym. They have an acronym, but for the are we moving the letters around? So for the longest time they had the acronym, but they couldn't decide what to actually call themselves until somebody had the bright idea to just say, let's just say Santa. Like shield. Anyway, Danny, let's do another super chat.
All right.
Sorry, we went on that a little bit too long. Good.
Let me scroll back up. At the very bottom of the page. Andrew Follett says, "Will 12 Days of Rewind all be bad movies?"
Well, 12 Days of Rewind didn't begin with a bad movie. It didn't begin with a great movie. But Incredible Hulk, or Trial of the Incredible Hulk, regardless of the fact that there is no trial in Trial of the Incredible Hulk, is surprisingly watchable. I really enjoyed it. But no, to answer your question beyond that, no, they're not all bad movies. And that Barbie movie should have been worse than it was.
As someone who's seen the list, it's a very eclectic list, but it's a very interesting list, and I look forward to like binge listening through all of them. Like,
I also want to mention that
all out to watch them all.
Anybody who ultimately isn't happy with the list, just remember I didn't make it. That is the requesters on Patreon. I let them pick it. The reason I came up with I had thought about doing something like this for a long time. I actually, Danny, wanted to do this last year, and I came up with it too late. And I was like, well, there's no way I can do that in 10 days. So I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, you need 12 days for it. Hence,
this year, I need more time than that. But this year, I finally decided on it at the last minute. I was doing other stuff, and I got to crunch time, and I was like, I'm going to do it. I didn't start writing somebody asked me this question today, so I'll answer it here. I didn't start writing this until November 28th. I have written now 9 since November 28th. And it's been a whirlwind, but it's been really fun to do. I didn't think it was possible to write that many in that short a time. And they don't seem to be completely incoherent to people, so that's good. But like, I know it sounds a little rushy, but I want to challenge myself and see if I can do it. And it has been a really, really fun project. But yeah, I came up with the idea of, instead of picking them myself, because I actually had a list at one time of a movie that I was going to do. And then I thought, well, we have 12 requesters right now. I'm going to drop that number in January because I just don't have time to keep doing this many requests. That tier will still be around, by the way, folks. And if you want to request a one-time thing, I'll put it in a queue and just give me a little bit of time to get to it. But I'll still take requests over email through PayPal. But anyway, people have been asking me about that too, which is why I mentioned it here. But anyway, I thought, well, we have 12 requesters. I'll let them all pick. And then I had one guy who I never heard from. So I let Sarah pick one. And she picked that Barbie movie because we found out about it a couple weeks ago. And she thought it was hilarious, just that it existed. She said, I'm going to make you watch that. She hasn't even seen it. And then I was like, joke's on you. It's not the worst thing ever. So, ha!
The next super chat from this.
Rockman says I used to be able to manage 10 minutes. That's true. I intentionally don't write them that short anymore. I mean, honestly, Danny, I've been doing it this way for so long, and I have so much to say about a lot of stuff. I don't know if I could do one in 10 minutes at this point, but
I don't need the like abridged, too long didn't read version in 10 minutes. I don't think.
I think it would be really funny to make Cliff's Notes versions of rewinds, and then I would just cry when they get viewed more. When like more people look at those, I think that would be really funny.
Is apparently the sweet spot on YouTube now with their algorithm.
What is it?
5 to 10 minutes is apparently that sweet spot. So if you ever look at places like Vox or Vice or any like documentary channels, if that's the right term for those kind of channels, 10 minutes is about that sweet spot you want to hit because it's long enough for you to get a high view count, but not long. Sorry, that was my Xbox, but not long enough to where people drop off before like a certain percentage into the thing where you don't get any credit for it. So anyways.
Yeah. I mean, I realized that I could probably draw a larger audience if I was making shorter reviews, but what people like about that show and one of the things I enjoy about doing it is being more in depth and saying everything I have to say. It's funny that that's the sweet spot now because that's all you were able to do when I started was 10 minutes.
Yeah, I wasn't pushing that to say like make them 10 minutes again. That was certainly not what that point was. It was just like
I understand.
A very interesting thing that because like you said, that used to be like the max you could do on YouTube, and that was a long video. Now it's like that sweet spot because they're wanting to make everything super short on the channel again. And my conspiracy is they're running out of server space and they want everybody to shorten everything down.
That's really funny. Yeah, I mean, if I really, really wanted to, I could force myself to do that. It just wouldn't be the same show. And I don't intentionally write them super long either. Like when I was doing Daredevil, the first season, somebody said this better be the longest rewind you've ever written, and I'm like, well, it might be. But I mean, it's going to be the length that it needs to be. And I'll admit that sometimes I probably could I probably could shorten them a little bit more than I do. I'll get to crunch time and I don't do as much editing as I probably ought to. I'll certainly admit to that, but it's more of a podcast now than anything, which is part of the reason that I allow it to go as long as it does, especially because we can't use the stills anymore. So, people aren't, Danny, like people want to click on a 5 or 10 minute video, but people are less likely to click on a 15-minute podcast.
Exactly. Yeah. If I find a podcast that, even if it's from someone I regularly watch, and it's only like, if it's less than 30 minutes, I don't watch it because I'm like, okay, there's not a whole lot in here, and there's not anything of like use. So yeah, going to podcast.
I like to listen. People want a long thing to keep going, so they don't have to keep clicking around if they're like in the car or they're exercising, whatever it is. And so it's just what I'm doing is now for a different audience, and has been for a lot longer than when it was for for that first audience. I mean, like a lot of those are the same people, but you know what I'm saying,
right?
Anyways, you want to do another super chat?
Yeah, Mr. Roboto asks, will the Captain Logan family be caroling this year?
I haven't done that in the longest time. I guess the answer to that is no. I used to carol some with choirs.
Yeah, I did too.
Did you really?
We church choir. We go around near where our church was, and we do caroling. And that stopped when I was like probably 5 or 6 or so. I don't really remember. But
I was doing it as recently as high school and college.
Wow.
Because I stayed involved in choirs for a long time. We did that some with school choirs too, but for the most part it was church stuff. I have, Danny, done bell caroling. I used to be in a bell choir for a good long time actually, and so bell ringing choir, and I did that caroling a few times. That was fun. That's more fun than the singing ones, honestly. But you have to memorize your sheet music.
Yeah, that's.
So just memorizing the words.
I miss being in choirs. I do. I miss jazz especially. I was in a local jazz ensemble in college.
Yeah, that's. I got out of like choir when I was like 6th grade, like right when puberty hit, I guess. So like my voice was changing. I felt really awkward trying to sing and like my voice cracking. So I was like, not for me. Getting out of this as soon as I can.
Crap, I can't be an alto anymore. Darn it.
Yeah. Do you want to jump into the pre-written questions or go back?
We should. Yeah, let's do that.
Mutale, sorry, man, I'm not going to butcher your last name, so I'll just stop at the first name. Quit while I'm ahead. Do you think if Josh Brolin wasn't cast, Ron Perlman would have made a good Thanos?
I don't see that right away. What do you think, Danny?
Would have been a great face to base your CGI off of.
Yes, I don't know about like the attitude though. And I'm not saying that he's not versatile, but I think he would have to give a different performance than he's ever given before.
Yeah, he always plays kind of that sarcastic, kind of dry character.
That would be like saying, like, what about Michael Rooker for Thanos? And I'm like, I can't right away see it.
I'm Mary Poppins.
Yeah. So no, I'm sure he would rise to the occasion if he were cast for it. I don't think he would want a role like that.
No, and I like if this was a world where CGI didn't exist and like you're having to like straight up just whoever you cast has to be a big dude with a very big chin that you can do prosthetics for. Probably about like the only choice you've got for Thanos, but
there's not a lot. Yeah. That's right. No, you need a face that looks like a Galactus or something, like
looks like a walking
like it could eat planets all by itself.
I'll do another pre-written question right quick because I've got it pulled up. William Parcell says, do you think Marvel Comics will eventually give in and reboot? Their comics have been going downhill, and they've been hinting at more reality-altering stuff coming.
And I know I'm a broken record. I've said this before. That's a great question. The first thing that comes to my mind is, well, the last time they pretended to reboot, it was barely a reboot. When they did Secret Wars, it was kind of pointless. And it was a great story, and I really liked it, or at least I remember it being great. I haven't ever actually sat down and read it all together. So I always hesitate with stuff like that, Danny, because at one time I thought Hush was a great story too. And then I reviewed it, and I was wrong. And really anything I ever liked by Jeff Loeb, apparently. I'm scared to death to go back to Daredevil Yellow. because I remember really liking that story. And oh, look, Freddy's back. And anyway, so Danny, I don't see it. I don't think that's how they would try to course correct at this point. Yeah, or if they did, it would be a really bad idea. I don't know. Maybe it's counterintuitive enough that they would do that because they've been making a lot of great choices lately. If I were them, I wouldn't do that again. I mean, it's been too recently. A lot of people were against them when they did reboot. And then what I was saying with Secret Wars is so much of the stuff that was different right after Secret Wars. Hey, Freddie, I'm trying to talk, buddy. So much of the stuff that was different in Secret Wars or right after Secret Wars wasn't because of Secret Wars. And the example I always go to is Daredevil. You'd think that would be their excuse to make it so that that nobody knew Daredevil's true identity anymore. But they came up with a different reason for it. It's like a different conceit for that. Okay. It was really strange. I mean, I guess the main point of it was to envelop the Ultimate Universe in 616. But it's just really strange that, like, that was right after Marvel Now, when they were really on top and everybody was loving them. And then they did their reboot, sort of. And not a lot of stuff changed, really. And then it got to where it is now, where people are really unhappy with them and they have too many books, and people think their books are too jokey, and people think that they have too much of a political agenda, and all of that. And yeah, I don't know how you get out of that. I think you just do what DC did. I mean, like, this really is a 52, should be a 52, bye, Freddie. This should be a 52 into Rebirth situation, I think, Danny, where you just... The only way they fix it is if they realize what's wrong. I don't think the continuity is the issue so much as the attitude.
You know what I would do? I'd kind of redo Ultimates in a way, not like recreate the Ultimate Universe, but create a new universe.
Yes.
Start a new continuity from scratch there. Leave 616 as it is, and just don't put your focus on 616. And, like, obviously you're going to want to keep your Amazing Spider-Man, your Iron Man, your big legacy books or whatever in the 616 that people can still buy, and just for, like, the legacy factor of it, right? Like, you'd never, like, well, I say you'd never reboot Action Comics, but they did. But that, you just, like, move forward with whatever that new continuity is. Say this is how we're going to kind of get rid of some of the, like, continuity issues. Kind of go forward. We're trying to keep it more in line with what we're doing in the MCU, so the characters will be kind of like their movie counterparts, and just kind of go from there and create something completely new instead of having to irritate the people who have been decades-long fans of comics who don't want to see any change to the 616 continuity.
But that's the thing, is you've already lost that to some degree. Like, even though I don't think as much changed as probably ought to after Secret Wars, there were a lot of people like Dan Torrey, and Dan's come back to a few things, but that kind of wrote them off after that, because it's like, this was never supposed to happen. 616 was supposed to remain the same continuity. I don't care about it if it's not the characters and the history that I was there for in the first place. I submit to you guys, the problem is not the continuity as much as it's the people in charge right now. I think I don't know about Kowalski. Some of the things he's been saying lately are bugging me. It sounds like they're a lot more interested in Marvel as a brand to sell stuff with the likeness of characters than as a house of ideas. Dan brought this up with me the other night. He and I were talking, and he mentioned that with Kowalski, and I was like, but I guarantee you they put out a T-shirt that says House of Ideas, even if they no longer are really caring about telling stories. So yeah, it's a weird place we're in with Marvel right now. If I were them right now, I would loosen the reins on writers. I would stop. I would stop so much of the political pandering and stuff, which I really think they're doing. I would cut the number of books in half. And I think the biggest, because a lot of people are saying that Marvel is kind of like single-handedly destroying the comic industry right now. I don't know how true that is. I've not looked at numbers lately. I've been out of this a little bit, and that's partly because there's not a lot of stuff I care enough to read. It's funny because, like, I'm still buying a lot, but I don't get excited about sitting down and reading this stuff anymore. And that's
where I'm at right now. It's like I've just stopped buying month to month, and if there's a trade that comes out that I want to read, I'll buy the trade.
But I think the biggest thing that both companies and everybody across the board really needs to be really careful of is $5. I think we're going there. I think this time next year you could see most books going to $5 or the year after. And I think that's going to really tank it because like I think $5 could be enough to get us close to or cause the next comic crash. Am I crazy for you? Is that going too far? Am I crazy?
That combined with variant covers, I think would be a very big.
You have so many people that I'm hearing that used to be in comics that aren't in comics anymore. Just look at the numbers. Anytime I do a vault on newer comics, now maybe part of that with me is because I don't do it regularly anymore, but they don't do the numbers they used to. I don't think that audience, and this is a small sample set. This maybe doesn't tell us anything. Geekvolution is a very, very small sample set. We're real small potatoes on YouTube. We're not a big comic channel or anything, but it's like half of what it used to be. And other video series we do are not that way. I don't think people come to us for comics the way they used to. And for new stuff especially. And I think that's because they're not reading anymore.
Yeah, staying in line with this question, William Parcell also asked something similar to this question. And he said, I heard an interesting theory that Disney will eventually shut down Marvel Comics and sell the rights to write the various characters and teams.
Wow.
What do you think
That's
of that?
interesting.
Yeah.
I think that Marvel is such a small moneymaker for them that I could see them doing it. I could also see them not bothering because it's just not a big deal. Like it's such a small asset for them that I could see them just continuing to kind of act autonomously. Like they're not losing a lot of money by letting Marvel, not on the grand scheme. Even if Marvel does what DC did right before Rebirth and loses like $2 million in a year, like it's not a huge loss for Disney on the whole.
I could see Warner or AT&T or whichever is the parent company now doing.
I really don't see that happening.
Before I could see it happening with Disney and Marvel, because Marvel has already gone through the issue of, well, we sold some of our movie rights. We've had a horrible time trying to get those back when they finally came back into popularity. And if for some reason in 10, 15 years, written comics are the big thing that booms and there's a multi-billion-dollar industry for whatever reason, and they don't have the publishing rights or the writing rights or whatever kind of rights that would be tied up in, I can see Disney not wanting to ever sell anything Disney related ever. Yeah. Just because they've had to deal with the issue of having to buy back movie rights or negotiate.
Boy, that's a great point you're making.
Movie rights.
Okay, where are we on Super Chats? We've only got about 10 minutes left.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left. And one of them's not even an actual question. So
that's fine. Throw me a pre-written question. Do you have anything for Jason? Do you have anything Jason to jump on with us? Yes, I kind of feel bad. He's kind of just been sitting here.
Yeah.
This is going to sound really self-aggrandizing because it's about me. I swear it's the only Jason question I've seen though.
See, no, I know why you're doing this. You're looking for it. He's gonna see. This is what Danny does. He's gonna pretend like it's not about him, but it's all about him. All right, go ahead, Danny.
Well, it is the Danny Nixon show. Jason, how would you rate Danny's performance as chat moderator for this year? It's the only one for Jason I've seen, I swear.
He said, how would you rate Danny's performance as a chat moderator?
10 or 11.
Is he good? Is he good? Is he good at his job, or is he maybe a little full of himself?
My head's just
He's good at his job, but I think I would be better.
I love that answer.
That's fantastic. There are weeks where he goes, Dad, can I do Danny's job? I'm like, I have Danny. Yeah, but can I do it instead? Danny, do you have anything in there that maybe isn't directly addressed to Jason, but that he could weigh in on?
Yeah.
Like that.
Let me find. That was kind of like what he answered earlier. We did that one.
Oh, that man says, Jason, that was savage.
It was great. I loved it. That was
really good.
Okay, here's one. Who's your least favorite member of Batman's Rogues Gallery from Anime 2018?
Hey, that's a great question.
Batman's Rogues Gallery?
Yeah, your least favorite Batman villain. A Batman villain you just don't care for.
Okay.
You think for a minute, Danny. You being the big Batman fan you are, you've got to have something under your
Kite Man. Heck no. No.
Oh come on, Kite Man is great in that.
Yeah, no, I actually came to really like Kite Man. He specified it with excluding minor villains, so it's kind of throwing me for a loop.
I don't know what that means. Then there's a line that's difficult, right? Does the ventriloquist count as a main villain or a minor villain? Like I don't know about that.
I'll keep it at like A list, B list type of thing. Stuff that's kind of that you would either see that's either already been adapted in some other media, or I could very well see being adapted recently of the new stuff recently. And I'm going to go with Black Mask. Just do not care for that character. Like, I love the idea of like someone like a character coming in to take over the mob scene that kind of takes from the like gimmick idea of all the like characters like Joker and Riddler that pop up in the absence of the mob after Batman has kind of taken down the mob, and who kind of combines the two elements of those two very different types of crime that Batman takes on. I just do not care for Black Mask.
That's fair. Black Mask is not, I mean, I'm indifferent toward that character. Whenever I've been interested in that character, it's been because of things surrounding it, not the character himself. So like the whole gang war that he precipitates in No Man's Land is really interesting, but it's not him that's interesting about it.
Yeah.
I've never been the biggest fan of Poison Ivy. I'm always waiting for that great Poison Ivy story.
Yeah,
you know, like I want to love her, but most of the time I don't. I mean, I'm sure there's exceptions that I'm not thinking of, but like, you know, I love Gotham City Sirens. Her with those other two girls is often great. Her on her own, I don't know when she's just been wonderful by herself.
Yeah, her with Harley is one of my favorite combinations when it's not done gratuitously.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, I'm kind of in that same boat with Poison Ivy. Like, I really like no one's like really done that big environmental edge recently. When you think like with all the debate about global warming and you know, all those kind of things, why is that not the character you're doing something really big with?
You gotta be careful not to be horribly heavy-handed with it too, though. If can I say something that's probably going to bother some people? If she was at Marvel, we would have seen it a lot.
I'd kind of like to see something.
And we did give her own miniseries in 52, or no? Was it Rebirth? Was it 52? I think it was 52.
Probably,
and it wasn't great. But yeah,
there's a Batman.
And she had that weird costume that was like a black leotard. But I didn't like that.
I can't think of his name, but he's always like mimicking Batman, and I hate it.
Hugo Strange?
No.
Okay, that's a character that does that.
Not Hugo Strange.
What's that, Danny?
I said Owlman.
Owlman. Is it Owlman?
No.
Well, that's from Crisis on Two Earths. He's like the opposite.
Are you thinking of the one-shot villain in the animated series episode called The Cape and Cowl Conspiracy?
No.
Okay. I'm just trying to think of people that do this.
Something.
Oh, it's Bat something?
Yeah.
Batmite?
Huh?
Is it Batmite?
Yes.
Oh, you don't like Batmite?
I do not like Batmite.
I know a lot of people who don't like Batmite. That's fair. That's fine. I mean,
I like
he can be fun, but yeah.
Sometimes I like Batman, but only when he's like I don't like that he's always like trying to like mimic Batman and do this weird stuff, but I like some of the like crazy stuff that he does.
I'm not the biggest fan of Maxie Zeus.
Yeah, that's one I kind of just wrote off as minor, but yeah, he's had plenty of.
I mean, the guy then said somebody who's only been in like 2 episodes, so I guess he's thinking of TV even before he's thinking of comics. But like, Maxie Zeus, like I've never been just real enthralled with. I get real sick of Firefly. Anytime he shows up, I'm just like, I don't care.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Guys like that. Any of the really major ones, I don't really have this. I like. Everybody's got something decent, and then you got the ones that never have great stories but are just so great in concept. Like there aren't a lot of great Two-Face stories, but how do you not like Two-Face?
Calendar
That's kind of how I am with
Calendar Man can be good.
Yeah. Sometimes he's pretty bad though.
Ace is not a villain. Ace is a bat hound.
No. Not that Ace.
Oh, Ace from the. Oh, you're talking. Okay, well, there's a whole bunch of those though. You're talking about the Royal Flush Gang, but there's like 50 Royal Flush Gangs. Anyway, we could go on and on about this. Let's do some more super chats.
All right, from Jeffrey E. Patron. Here's to the Geeks versus Nerds Patron charity fund. At first, I thought he meant Patreon, but then I realized it was
Thanks, buddy. Oh yeah, 'cause his
Patron.
last name
Patron.
sort of looks like Patreon. Yeah, that's Jeffrey's new name. He's Jeffrey Patreon.
Jeffrey E. Patreon.
I want to say thanks to Jeffrey E. Patreon for helping us out with the show.
If you would like to help out the channel, you can also become a patron.
Go to patreon.jeffreye.com. Was that his whole comment?
Yes.
I love Jeffrey. I love him so
too.
much.
He's
All right,
awesome.
he's the best. And he left a I think it was Jeffrey. He left a comment a minute ago where he said Hugo normal guy. That was pretty great.
I love that. The next super chat from Thomas Edgehill. Have you seen Silverhawk yet? Did you come up with the term artificial character progression? I think it's multiple questions.
Yes.
Have you seen
Yes.
Silverhawk yet? Or
I have
Sliverhawk?
not. Who asked this question?
Thomas Edgehill.
Okay, I don't think that's the person that sent Silverhawk, but maybe. Maybe I can't remember who sent that. But thank you if that was you. Silverhawk came in last year, and yeah, I have not gotten to it yet. That's a Michelle Yeoh film. She's playing the superhero in that. And no, I've not done that yet. I was looking at that on my shelf just the other day, and I was like, oh, maybe I should try to get that front loaded soon for Superhero Rewind.
Is it this show?
That's where all the superhero movies are. Yep.
But I didn't know that Silverhawk was a superhero show.
It's a movie.
I mean, a superhero
With Michelle
movie.
Yeoh.
With Michelle Yeoh?
Michelle Yeoh. What else? What else, Danny? Something
Did you come
about
up with the term artificial character progression.
I did. Yep. I came up with that for an episode of Kenny Kurt the Freaks.
And it's one of the first t-shirt designs I actually did.
Yeah. It was really cool that you did that. Was that a thing you thought of, or did I ask you to make that?
No, I drew that up after listening to that before I even started helping out with the channel and just tweeted it to you.
Oh yeah, because you just did it in the Smallville font, and then you sent it to me, and I was like, "Oh, this is great." I didn't expect it to catch on or anything. I just, but yeah, no, I got comments about that. People seem to think that was funny. But yeah, anyway, so thanks for that. But yeah, that's a couple things in Counting Crypto Freaks, and I really want to get back to that show. Kind of stuck around for whatever reason. Danny, it's hard to have this kind of conversations without it sounding like you're polishing your own helmet. But artificial character progression kind of caught on, as did love triangle phase. I try to bring that up as often as I can get away with it, because I do love triangle phase.
The next part of his question is, the Karate Kid 1 takes place in Christmas, and you are awesome.
Oh, thanks, man. That's true. It does. I forgot all about that. Maybe I'll watch that this year. That's a great movie. Okay, Danny, we are about out of time. How many more super chats do we have?
4 more.
Where does the time go? Let's knock them out. Go ahead.
Lightning City says, do you think a Mr. Freeze solo film could work? And if so, how do you think it should be done?
A Mr. Freeze solo film?
Yeah.
Oh boy, I don't know if I would give Mr. Freeze his own movie. I mean, I like the idea of Mr. Freeze being the singular big bad for a Batman movie or for something else. Danny, what do you think? Like immediately, I'm not sure if there's even a lot of merit to that notion. Nothing against the guy asking, because he might really love that character. It would about have to be an origin movie, I think. And I don't know if I would want to see that. I'm just I'll go this far. The Mr. Freeze character study where you really get to know him and his wife before he turns into Mr. Freeze could maybe kind of work, but you got to have a darn good writer, man, because that sounds like a real obligatory pointless thing at first.
I wouldn't do it as a solo film. The closest I'd get to that is do the kind of superhero formula where you're just focusing mostly on the villain, trying to make them super sympathetic. Mm-hmm. And then at the end, you kind of bring in your protagonist more into the forefront to fight them at the end. That's what I do. But I can't see a solo film, which presumably wouldn't feature Batman all that much.
You know what the Mr. Freeze origin idea sounds like to me, Danny? It sounds like it sounds like a TV show. It sounds like one of those prequel TV shows like Gotham or Smallville or this Alfred show that's supposed to happen where it's just called Freeze.
Yeah, and it's spelled like his last name.
Like Fries. And so at first everyone thinks that it's Fries, And then it gets further complicated when McDonald's gets the license to make things, to do the special freeze glasses. So
I was about to say, we need the spinoff that's called burgers.
So you have, really cold blue looking font. You have on French fry boxes. It says fries, but it means freeze.
Freeze fries.
Freeze fries. Tell your friends.
I have a printable named Mr. Freeze. I mean, Mrs. Freeze.
Mrs. Freeze, yeah.
But it's spelled like fry?
Right. That's how Mr. Freeze is spelled, too.
Is she trapped in ice?
Yeah, is she in a giant snow globe? Where everybody's just waiting for a cure for her to come back out? No?
Huh?
Okay.
I know.
Danny, let's do another super chat, man.
David Crabtree says, Orville Season 2, only a week and a half away.
Oh my goodness, is it that cool? That's exciting.
Apparently. I like that the promos for this season are less sitcom-y than how they marketed Season 1.
Yep. I agree with that. Now, they could market it any way they want to, and there's no reason to expect it's suddenly a different show or anything. There's no reason to course correct because it was relatively popular and people seem to be really happy with what they were doing. And all signs point to that show gets less sitcom-y and maybe even a little bit more archy and more like a Star Trek show that leans into the comedy more than Star Trek does. But even toward the end of that season, more and more I started feeling like it was a pretty serious Star Trek show that kept having to remind itself that it was supposed to be a comedy, which I really liked. So, yeah.
The next super chat from Grady Childs. Thoughts on Arkham Knight becoming part of DC Comics canon in Detective Comics 1000? It's probably not going to be Jason Todd. Arkhamverse Jason sucks.
I did not know about this. I agree that Arkhamverse Jason sucks. It's dumb that wasn't seeded in any way whatsoever. And in the middle of that game, and you've played that, right?
Mm-hmm. I don't like it. I don't like that twist. I like the game. Awesome. I don't like that twist.
No, and doesn't it suck that it's just kind of the most fun of those to play? Like they weren't so big. I want to go back to it before I go back to anything, but I go back to City more just because it's better.
I love City.
It's a good story.
I actually really love the Jason flashbacks we get in that, and I'd like the whole story of it a lot more if it wasn't Arkham Knight and they weren't trying to swerve us. Just make it Red Hood, and I wouldn't care.
Why does he have a private military? What does he have to do with a military? Drones in fiction are in right now. Let's do that.
Yeah, and we got to have something for Batman to destroy because he can't kill. So we've got to have the tank blows. I
don't have a problem. To actually answer the question, I don't have a problem with Arkham Knight, and maybe this was inevitable. We do this all the time, right? Where anything that was remotely popular,
except for Phantasm.
Repurpose it. Yeah, that's true. Well, that might be for the best too. I don't know, but I don't immediately have a huge problem with that. I think you could do some cool things with it. It probably needs to be a character that is either related to Batman or is somewhat inspired. But see, if I were going to do it, Dan, because he's got the years and everything, if I were going to do Arkham Knight, I would make him a military guy. I don't know if this is interesting. I don't typically like military stories, so I wouldn't write this. But if I wouldn't want to be the guy that had to write this. But if I did Arkham Knight, I'd have him as a military guy who is inspired by Batman but doesn't understand the point of Batman and tries to create like a totalitarian state, like a police state. That's how he fights crime. Like that's what I would do. But I don't know what that has to do with Arkham. See, then you have to somehow connect it to Arkham, and I don't know what you do with that.
The problem with that is I just did that at the beginning of Rebirth in Detective Comics with Kate Kane's father.
I forgot about that.
Like, I could see this because they're doing it in Detective Comics. I could see that being what they're tying this into, but I still don't get where Arkham comes from. I'd like it personally to be related to Jeremiah Arkham some way. And like it's someone you joke. I'd like it to be someone who takes on this mantle because he is vehemently against what Batman has done to the criminals in the city by throwing them into Arkham Asylum, where they're not getting any actual help. And he sees what Batman's doing as just keeping them stuck in that cycle of crime, right? And he's going at Batman and taking on fighting fire with fire, basically, and is saying, "You've used my family's name to hurt these people by sticking them in Arkham Asylum and continuing to throw them into the cycle. So I'm going to use your motif to come at you and attack you, sort of thing. And I mean, you'd have to be a much better writer than me to actually make that work. There's just something I kind of spitballed.
What I said, and I don't know, maybe that guy gets to the point where he decides that Batman's right and you can't rehabilitate them. So then that's where more of the military thing comes in, because he just goes around and kills them.
Yeah.
Well, wait.
I know I wasn't laughing at what you were saying. People in the comments were singing My Way because I sang that at the beginning of a rewind this week. Anyway, okay. How many more super chats do we have? We gotta get going.
One more, and
all right, let's do it.
Ross Hitchcock asks, "What are our thoughts? What are your thoughts on the in-game trailer?"
We talked about this last week at length, so you can go back and check that out. Danny, did you have anything else you might want to add to that?
Not really. My too long didn't read thoughts are it's a good teaser. Yep. I'm glad they didn't show too much.
No, I agree with that. And it's weird that that's the title they landed on, not telling us about it for so long. But yeah, it's exactly what they should have released, I think.
Yeah, that's kind of where I landed. It's the best trailer you could put out after Infinity War without spoiling a whole bunch of stuff, but still getting people hyped. So
yeah, but
Jason,
not
what
being
do you think of it?
Too horribly teasery either. I haven't shown it to Jason yet.
Oh well.
Danny, let's do another pre-written one real quick because folks were the new Avengers trailer you've not seen yet. I forgot to even tell you about it.
What did they call it?
They called it Endgame.
Oh, Endgame.
And that's the news. Yeah, Danny, let's do one more pre-written because some folks were complaining that we had so many super chats tonight, and we really didn't get to a lot of pre-written.
William Parcell asked, Jason, what is your favorite Spider-Man suit besides the classic red and blue?
Okay.
Oh, that's good.
Probably Scarlet Spider.
That's one of my favorites, man. I love Scarlet Spider.
Yeah. I love the jacket. The hoodie.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Or I like
2099.
I love 2099.
That's my favorite.
I also like Miles Morales.
Jason, was it Miles Morales you did a couple of years ago? You had a Miles Morales suit? Yeah.
Yes,
that's a good costume.
That's my favorite.
That
aside
was
from the
classic.
It's amazing that they were able to this late in Marvel's history design another like really iconic Spider-Man costume.
It's so good.
And the black coat, but that's the same suit. He's just he's just a pig. No, I love the black costume. That used to be my favorite.
I do not.
I think it and 2099 are always kind of fighting for me.
I bet every artist who's ever had to work on the classic Spider-Man suit loved when they switched to that Miles Morales suit because there's so many less spider webs you have to design to draw on it. They're like, man, I'm going to try to put as many like areas of just black or just blue in these suits from now on, get away from all these stupid spider web lines, because those are always a pain. So I bet.
Hate the noir suit. I hate the homecoming.
You don't like the noir suit?
I don't like the noir.
What's wrong with the noir suit? It's just not Spider-Man?
It's not Spider-Man.
Okay, well, it's not really supposed to be, though. That's the whole point of it. I mean, it is and it's not,
And then
he's a dark,
I don't like the
Spider-Man.
homemade homecoming suit. I hate that one.
Interesting, because you just said you like the Scarlet Spider one.
Yeah.
What?
He's 8,
True.
But
what do you think of the PS4 suit?
PS4 suit?
Yeah.
The homecoming suit?
No, the PS4 suit.
Oh, yeah.
The main suit with the white spider on it, yeah.
Yeah. I like that one.
People are really digging on that one. I thought it was interesting that I'm not a big fan of it. Like, I think it looks fine, but I can't bring myself to play it in the game because there's so many other better suits. Yeah. I thought it was interesting. I mean, I guess it makes sense for an advertising thing, because it was a Sony movie. But I was a little bit surprised actually to see it pop up in the Spider-Verse movie, since that game hadn't released when they were making it. But I guess that wasn't so much like we're throwing this out for the fans of this game. It's we're throwing it out to advertise it. But then, how would anybody know it was an advertisement when you have 14 other suits in the room?
Yeah. Real quick to get on like a conspiracy theorist thing. I think that white, because they've talked about how they're not doing the symbiote suit as DLC. I think that white symbol is going to be kind of their in continuity reason for why the symbiote suit has the white logo.
Oh, that's interesting. Maybe so. It really sounds like their sequel is probably going to go full on Venom.
Yeah.
Because that's the one big thing they saved. And they were like, well, it's too iconic. If we're going to do the black costume, we don't want to just pay it lip service. Like we've got to, it's got to be in our continuity. And so, yeah, that is probably the next thing they do, especially given how popular Venom is all of a sudden.
Yeah.
That's the other thing, is when that movie makes almost $1 billion, they probably would be asked to force it in anyway.
Yeah. Because that seems to be the thing with Sony Spider-Man, is having to like shove Venom in there somewhere. Did
you see Spider-Verse?
Not yet.
I need to see that movie.
Do you like movies, Danny? Do you
like
go to the theater?
I like movies. I just haven't been in the past couple of months. I've just got really busy with work, and I haven't wanted to go on the weekends. And I need to get back into actually seeing movies lately.
I'm just messing with you. I understand that. Okay, speaking of that, once again, I'm going to see quite a bit of stuff this week and have a little bit already. Eric and I are going to review a whopping 4, I think, on tomorrow night's How We Felt About. We're not going to shoot it live. I don't know how long it's going to go, and some of that will be more truncated than other things. So I don't want to do it live because some folks live will be probably saddened by our not taking a lot of questions, and we wouldn't be able to take a lot of questions on that show. So we're going to pre-record it. We're gonna be reviewing Aquaman and Bumblebee. We're gonna see both of those tomorrow night. Danny, we're doing a double feature to get it all in. I don't know why so much stuff's coming out at the same time. This is gonna be a wild weekend. I can't begin to predict which of those beats the other. I don't think there's any knowing if Bumblebee or Aquaman takes the weekend.
I think it's gonna be as close to dead even as you could probably realistically get. And I don't mean like both of them make like 500 million or something like that. I mean, like, it'll probably be like a pretty far difference, but it'll be enough to where it's really cutting into what both of those movies could have made if they opened up on their own.
It was smart that Spider-Verse did not open up against anything that big. It did 34, which for an animated thing is pretty good. I was hoping it would take a little bit more than that, but yeah, I can't begin to tell you. I mean, Aquaman is, and I'm sure there are projections. I haven't looked, but like at one time I thought Aquaman had a chance at tanking and not doing great. Now I'm starting to think it could surprise everybody. And Bumblebee could go either way, honestly.
Yeah,
because those Michael Bay Transformers movies used to do really well, but then 5 didn't do as well here as the others had. And that's going to bring in some people that didn't like the Michael Bay stuff. It looks enough Michael Bay-esque in the previews just because it's in that continuity, I think, that some people will probably stay away from it. So I don't know. It's really hard to say.
Yeah, I wonder if Transformers not being in the name might hurt it. And
see, I think they made a mistake on that.
I just wonder how many people are going to go drive past the theater and see Bumblebee and think it's a kid's movie.
Yeah,
like the B movie kind of a thing, where it's like an animated kids movie.
Yeah, no, I think that's a mistake. I think they think that character is maybe not more popular than it is, but popular enough that name on its own would sell it. I don't know. That's weird. I don't think this is going to affect it at all. But if it were me, just knowing that there is a character called that at DC, I wouldn't have done it.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's
stuff right now. Like, I wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, like Bumblebee is not like brand recognition enough, I would think, to where you could just get away with it on just that name. But
Madman predicts that Aquaman will gross more than Justice League. That's interesting. I mean, it's got to beat, what, 550?
Man, can you imagine Aquaman?
Because that movie didn't do anything like what they expected it would.
No, this timeline's weird.
Oh, it's very strange. When you say timeline, I don't think you mean the DCU timeline. I think you mean the one we're in right now, right?
No, I mean like post 2016 when singer, what's his name? David Bowie died. Everything from that point, it's just gotten weird. It's just
Hawk Flame says box office wise, Aquaman is going to win by far, according to projections. So that's interesting.
I didn't know David Bowie died.
And then this weekend we've all there's a joke about that in Deadpool 2 where he goes, at least we still have Bowie. And then we got Bowie. But anyway, I was gonna mention something else, but I can't remember what it was. And then you've also got Mary Poppins Returns this weekend. And I think Disney made a mistake putting that up against those two movies. But I mean that's not going to be the big family movie when you've got Bumblebee and a DC movie that looks kid friendly enough to take kids to. Yeah. Like, I don't think it'll tank, but it should have gone a different weekend. I think it'll do fine, but it should have gone on a different weekend, and I want to see that also. So we got 3 things coming out this weekend. Yeah, major things. All right, folks. Thanks a lot for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. We will see you again after Christmas. Danny and I are. Let me say that again. Danny and I are going to take next week off. We've got a few more. I guess we're halfway now. We're at the halfway point on the 12 Days of Superhero Rewind. That will be finished on Christmas Day. So you will get a rewind on Christmas Day. And then after that, it'll be a little bit sparse for the next week. Danny and I will be back the week after that, assuming that Danny's not out of town or something. And you think, okay, so we should be back the Wednesday after that. And like I said, there will be an omnibus shortly thereafter. I can't promise exactly what date yet, but it will be in a couple of weeks now, unfortunately. And then lots of kind of smaller special projects. Danny, I have a crazy marathon live show I'm planning on doing soon. I don't want to say anything else about that yet either.
Oh man, is it 24 day?
It's not 24 day. I may do that again at some point if I can get anybody else to hang out with me. I don't need anybody else to necessarily watch it with me. If I can get an audience. No, it's too violent for you. You would really like that show. I would definitely do it if I could get somebody else to do it with me. But I don't know. That was a crazy thing to do, and I was a lot younger when I did it to us. So anyway, all right. Anyway, that's all the news that's fit to print. Thanks so very much for watching. I am Captain Logan. This is Jason.
This was me.
and Danny Nixon.
I always say that.
This was me.
And I am once again Captain Logan saying good night, and happy holidays, Merry Christmas,
happy holidays,
all that jazz.
Merry Christmas.
Bah humbug.